TV's on. Hold on. Good morning. It's probably like afternoon actually. Hold on. Oh no, it's still morning. It's not even 11. It is Saturday, March 30th. Trying to get my life together. When I say officially, like, of course the mission is to always get my life together, but I think I needed to redefine what together meant, but also stop being so indecisive about certain things and stop being so scared. If you're new here, my name is Ashlee Nicole, and I don't even know how to introduce myself anymore. Don't worry about my eyelashes, y'all. I had real good sleep. But my name is Ashlee Nicole. I am a 31-year-old black woman living alone in very north ass Texas, and been starting over for a good 2 years now. Maybe I moved to Texas from St. Louis, Missouri, born and raised, and during COVID. That was what, May of 2021. And I've been trying to figure it out. I didn't necessarily move here with a plan. It was kind of on a whim. There's more info about that in some previous videos. Again, I've tried to do this whole YouTube thing before, and I've done it in spurts. I don't know. I'm just really trying to figure out like what is my... I have so much to say. I have so much to offer. Making it all make sense has always been a thing for me. But who told you that was straight? It might be. Is my face crooked? The realization now, I'm not even gonna say realization because it's something I realized a long time ago. It's just now I'm taking some initiative to combat it. But the thing with me has always been, I have so much to say. I'm multi-talented. I have so much to offer, and I know these things about myself. I'm confident in that. It's the doing it and looking a little crazy. You know, all the fears that come up with like putting it out there into the world, especially as such an introverted person. I do much better now, but an introverted and very anxious person. But shout out to God, shout out to my therapist, and shout out to medication. Yeah, so here we are figuring this out. And y'all know Emily Dela Cruz. She I don't think she's from New York, but also a Dallas resident, and she is doing something that I think she's calling building in public, and it's really all about transparency and like working out the kinks, even if people looking. Like don't none of us know what we're doing. She's a founder of a tech company at this point, which is so cool. I actually was introduced to her when she was, I'm not gonna say just doing marketing, but she was a marketing consultant, and she's always just so informed. And I know she'd probably be like, girl, what are you talking about? But you know how you see people differently than you see yourself. I'm actually going to insert a clip here of one of my good friends, Sean Alexander, telling me that like I am an inspiration to him in a sense, in the work that he does. And you know these things, but hearing these things, like hearing their actual thoughts on it, hearing it out loud in a space where you can't run away from the compliments, it's crazy. So him saying this was one of those moments for me.
And this is going to get a bit mushy, but I come to you and I ask you because honestly, in regards to design, like you are like the bar to me. You know, I know a lot of people that do logos and shit like that, like, but you are the bar and you structure things in a way that makes sense. Like, I feel like me and you were very, like, see things very similar when it, like, in that sense. Um, you understand shit the same way I understand it. Or if you do understand it differently, like you're able to like bring it into your world and kind of like make it make sense. And I know you probably gonna say I'm giving you too much credit, but no, like so that's why I come to you and ask you like what do you charge? Because I feel like okay, well if Ashlee, because when I look at design and how I design, a lot of how I design like I get from you. Like I get from like work that I've seen you do, how you lay shit out, like how I set up my artboards like came from like me just sitting next to you in the office one day and like watching how you do shit. And I was like, oh shit, I need to start laying shit out like that, like piece by piece, so like I know what's what. Um, so that's why I come to you, because I'm like, okay, so if Ashlee is comfortable with this number, like personally, I don't feel that I'm a better designer than you. But if Ashley is charging this number, like I can kind of gauge where I should fall based on that alone. It kind of gives me somewhere to go. Now, me and you are in the exact same headspace, because I feel like what I'm going to bring to the fashion and the aesthetic of it all is worth, whatever number I fucking put on it. But yeah.
Yeah, okay. So shout out Shine. He's actually in more of the fashion industry. Is that what you want your title to be? Because I'm asking because there have been so many times. Like, do y'all parents know what y'all do for a living as millennials? I think my mother knows now. I have no idea if my father knows what I do for a living. But it just be so interesting, like aunties, uncles, whoever try to refer you to people, and you like, why did you tell them I could do that? Or why did you think I would be? Love y'all. But I like to ask people, what do you want to be called? Because titles these days all over the place, and they don't mean much, but it might mean something to you. So I don't know what my title is anymore. I am leaning into the visual godmother, and it actually woke me up out of my sleep last night, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, don't tell nobody, but slapping that title on was like something cute, because it was hard to call myself a graphic designer because I don't do random graphic design tasks, if that makes sense, just for like anybody or any industry. So that was hard, because you introduce yourself as a graphic designer, and one, graphic designers get a bad rap. As a creative person, we can be flaky, we can be wishy-washy, we can have all off days, and for whatever reason, videographers and graphic designers, we've been put in this box of if people have been burned before, they don't want to trust you. So and again, moment of transparency, I have not always been the most dependable, most reliable person. I would say my work has been consistent, but mix the never-ending creative brain with the level of anxiety that I used to have, and I would just shut down. So when I say I haven't always been the most reliable or dependable person when it comes to being a business owner, it's been in like the communication. I'm gonna do it, but you might be like, damn, where'd she go? We're not doing it no more. Definitely something that me and Guy and my therapist and this medication has been working on. And the anxiety of having to communicate like, sorry, I ghosted you. It just becomes a never ending cycle. But anyway, so I've burned people before. So I'm saying this and putting myself in this category. But as I move out of that and like work through those kinks of anxiety and personality and imposter syndrome, whatever they have, the combination has been, I'm like, okay, I don't want to call myself a graphic designer anymore, because that already has a negative connotation. It already kind of puts me at a disadvantage. And I also feel like I do more than just general graphic design. So photography, picked that back up as I moved to Texas, because there's so much more opportunity here than there was in St. Louis for me. Everybody can speak for themselves. But also, what is the title for somebody who does all of those things? And at first I separated them. I would say I'm a graphic designer and brand photographer, because I didn't do video. Now I'm doing video, and I said I would never do video, but here I am, and it's what I do, excuse me, most of the days. I need to turn my heat off. I'm burning as we speak. Okay, so when I would introduce myself, I would normally say like, oh, I'm a graphic designer, photographer, web designer, pretty much anything visual that you need to be done besides video, I can do. And so I needed that differentiation. Now that I've added video, and I'm like, originally visual godmother was like just a cute name. I am a godmother. I'm a godmother technically to one child, but it's a bunch of children out here that if you try it, you trying me. And so I take that very seriously. But growing up, I didn't have a godmother, and that's why I take it very seriously. But granted, I have a lot of aunties and a lot of uncles I would have been taken care of if, God forbid, something was to happen to my parents. But I grew up seeing my friends have godmothers who were the rich godmother or the fun godmother, like the one that we could talk to, that type of stuff. And so I was always like, well, I don't have one of those. And so when I'm older now, and all my friends have children, I have nieces and nephews, and I take that role very seriously and don't have children of my own. So, but I never really thought about, like, where did this term of godmother come from? And even with the word God in the name, I never thought about it being tied back to Christianity. So for whatever reason, 4 or 5 o'clock this woke me up out of my sleep to look up the word godmother. And it helps bring my story together. Again, I started using the term without the story in mind explicitly, but it was always there. So anyway, as the type of designer I am, the type of creative I am, I like to take a holistic approach. I like to get in your business. I like to work with people long term as opposed to short term. So this is kind of why I wanted to get away from the title of just graphic designer or just web designer. I want to be a visual partner of yours. So when I looked up the word godmother, the 2 things that I wrote down were a godmother takes responsibility and a godmother is influential in the upbringing. And I'm like, that's me as your creative partner. I take responsibility. I don't want to work with a business that I don't want my name stamped on. I got out of that years ago. Even in this season of my life, there are probably thousands of dollars that I'm missing out on now and that I've missed out on in the past, simply because I didn't want to put my name on something that I didn't believe in, or that I didn't think was a good product, was a good service. And so though that has kept me stagnant as a business owner, it keeps me more fulfilled because I do work with people and businesses that I can take responsibility for. This is your brand baby. If I'm involved, I'm going to treat this like my baby too. And that is what a godmother does. I want to be influential in the upbringing. I want to start from the beginning and be with you through the processes that happen in the middle. Like, rebrands happen. I tell people all the time, just because I design branding for a company and they might change it down the line doesn't mean I did anything wrong. When I say I tell people, I tell designers that ask me for advice. It doesn't mean I did anything wrong, because everything is evolving. Businesses evolve. As a designer, I can only, especially if it's a one-off project, I can only do my best with the information you give me. So if I'm designing for your goals at that time, I'm designing for your audience at that time, I'm designing for or under your instruction at that time, I can only do with the information I have at that time. Whereas with longer term projects that I've worked on, or companies that I've worked with, for instance, Ashlee, why is her last name escaping me? Ashlee Adams. I knew it was like, because she's AAA, Ashlee Ashire Adams. I started with her on her first business schooling life, which was a podcast that grew into more than a podcast. We had products, like physical products that I designed and was able to see and shoot myself. And then she moved into mentoring, because honestly, that's what her podcast was about giving people life advice and career advice. And so now she has a career mentoring business. I moved with her through all those stages and all those levels of involvement. Is that a word? It's gonna be a word today. The levels of evolvement of her business. Same thing with Brianka Johnson. Even her name, she went by Brie at first, and she moved into and stepped into her power and was like, no, I'm Brianka. I don't care if you can't pronounce it. I don't care if it sounds like whatever you feel like it sounds like. I'm Brianka Johnson. Her personal brand as well as her business has evolved so many times over the years, and I've been working with her for 7 years. Those are the types of projects that fill me with pride. I might be an independent contractor, on paper, but to them I've become a friend, and to me they become a friend. So I take their business seriously. If something was to happen, there's been plenty of times where like me and Bree go way back, so it's like plenty of times we're like, fuck this, I want to give up, and both of us look at each other like, this is your baby, I'm not gonna let you give up on it. Like, that's godmother vibes. And so I don't even know how I got here in this video, but I just wanted to kind of share where I am, a little bit of how I got to where I am. But this realization that woke me up in the middle of my sleep last night was confirmation that, like, though I've been doing this for 15 years, and though I feel like a failed entrepreneur, a failed business owner, and I can talk about that later, has nothing to do with whether I'm good at what I do. I might not be a good business owner yet. Even after 15 years, I'm gonna be real transparent with y'all. Even after 15 years, I will confidently say I have no idea what I'm doing as a business owner. But as a creative that understands branding and parts of marketing, that understands client behavior, psychology of color, and things like that, like, and I still have a lot to learn. I know I'm hyping myself up and then downplaying myself. Craziness. Me not having this camera plugged up in the first place was crazy work. Anyway, what I was saying was, I still have a lot to learn, one, as a business owner. When I say a lot, a whole lot, though I've been doing this for 15 years. And this is not even like to downplay myself or to talk negatively about myself, but I consider myself a failed business owner, a failed entrepreneur, because because it came easy in the beginning, because it was an accident. I was very laxed, and over time, like, my communication failed, because it was hard for me to toggle in between my creative brain and my analytical brain. It was hard for me to be all the things that it takes to be the CEO of a business. That fact, coupled with the level of anxiety and depression that I was dealing with, it just wasn't working. It just was not working. And I have to be honest with myself about that before I can fix it. And so I've been honest with myself about that for a while now, and so obviously now I'm fixing it. But having to be patient with myself, because things that I did before, I started my business in 2010, y'all. Things that worked then, especially in my hometown, when I was one of the first people of like my generation, especially of my circle, to actually be running a business, people didn't even know what to expect of me, let alone like me knowing what to do. So like anything I did was working at the time. And I don't know if that's everybody's experience. I actually want to have a sit down one day with people like Mina and Alex and Church and Morgan, and like just people that have done really good things within the city over the years, over literal decades, and like just have them open up a little bit about how so much has changed. Not to say it was easy back then, but compared to the hoops we have to jump through now to stay relevant, to stay you know, in front of your audience, is just so hard. And I've always been introverted, but that was okay before, and now it's like it's just harder to work with when you're not willing to build in public. One of the things about being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, that we do is like hide all the bad parts. Most of my entrepreneurial journey has been bad, not bad, but like not good, not easy at all by any means. And take that how you want. Not easy financially. Like we see people go viral and people like pop up out of nowhere and become millionaires, and that's not everybody's fate. That's not everybody's story. And it's hard to come to terms with that sometimes when it seems so easy for other people, and been doing something so long like I have. Either way, I don't really know what this video is about. I am trying to come back to YouTube. I am trying to find my place. Again, I feel like I have a lot of things to say. I have a lot to offer. done a lot, even if it feels like I haven't. And I've been overthinking it for a very long time, and so I didn't really know how to present myself. I still don't know how to present myself, but one of the things I'm no longer going to allow myself to do is to not do anything just because I don't know something. I'm gonna build this in public, continue to build my business in public, which again is crazy to say that I'm still building, but it's changed so much over the years, just as any business has. It's just they don't show all of it. So anyway, if you are new here, again, I am Ashlee Nicole. For the last 15 years, I have been running Ashlee Nicole Artistry LLC, doing business as Artistry Studios, and then more recently doing business as just by Ashlee Nicole, so by Ashlee Nicole LLC. As I've broadened my spectrum of services and expertise and stuff like that. So I've been in the creative business owner field for 15 years, and when I say that, still to this day, most days I don't know where my next check is coming from, but I love what I do, and as much as I want to give up on it, because it's just not, I'm not gonna say it's not lucrative, because obviously it is and it can be. I'm just ready to take a different approach. So I probably started becoming a content creator in probably during COVID, like most people, but trying to take a different approach to that as well. So expect lifestyle content, expect some behind the scenes of running and building a business, expect a lot of auntie content, a lot of godmother content, and health and wellness as well. If you also don't know and seen some of my other videos, been kind of all over the place, but I have a rare chronic blood cancer, so I talk a lot about health and wellness, though that is also something I need to work harder at in my life, being healthy and being well. I'm doing all of this at one time. And again, I'm in this city where I barely know anyone, and I'm trying to figure it out. So welcome to All Is Well with Ashlee Nicole.